Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video, we're going through the West Coast vs St Kilda game, which West Coast lost at home. And yeah, they just got, in the end, Harley Reid got figured out, as simple as that. I think he is starting to, at least in the last month or so, he has had one really good game, but I mean, he's had a couple of really poor games, so I wonder if he's hitting the rookie wall. I mean, he definitely got frustrated in that second half against St Kilda with Wintagger tagging him. He definitely got onto Harley Reid's nerve, and Harley Reid, I think, even had almost a negative or something, definitely a negative Supercoach half. I think he only had about 7 or 8 points fantasy-wise in the second half. It might have been 9. Yeah, he just didn't get involved in that second half. And that's the reason why West Coast lost, is they didn't really have anyone outside of that. I thought Jimby actually had a pretty good game for once in a while. I thought that was probably his best game of the year. Elliot Yeo had a 98, and Liam Duggan, consistent 90-odd guy, it seems like. But anyway, before we jump into this video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into this recap. So, Liam Duggan, 99, as I said, he was pretty consistent. I mean, he just went off in the first half with a 60 and then a 39 in the second half. But then again, he's just continuously putting out 90s scores, which should be top 6 in the end now that Whitfield has fallen off a cliff like he does every single year. Elliot Yeo, 98. 35, 28, 11, 24. I thought he was all right. I mean, he did have that 70-meter bomb out of bounds on the full from like a top 55 out. But yeah, he was just pretty consistent. A 63, and then another 35 second half gets him to a 98. But yeah, he just he seems like a guy that's always going to be around that 90 or 80, a 90-odd AFL fantasy, and about that 110, 115 Supercoach, because he's a really contested ball player. Jimby, 96, I thought he was a lot better. And the thing I like about what is developing into his game, even though he had, I think, 7 tackles in the end, was that he didn't rely on having 15 tackles to get up to a big score. And I know we're talking about a 96, but a 96 is a good start for him. I genuinely think if he can average, he had 20 touches, 5 marks, 8 tackles. That's a really good output game for him. I reckon he can genuinely, in his 3rd, 4th, and 5th year, he can bring that up to averaging 20 to 25 touches alongside 8 tackles. I think it is genuine that he could average 8 tackles a game. I don't think he will average the 5 marks that he took. I think he will average more like a 3 or 2 marker. But I think that there is a genuine case for him to be a sort of 100 type fantasy scorer in the future. I just don't think he's at it at the moment, given that I don't think his usage in the team is too high when you've got Duggan, Yeo. I mean, Sheed's there. If he can really knock Sheed out of the side completely, that's when I think he'll take it over, as I think Sheed had about 22, 23 touches, did he? Where's Sheed? Sheed had 20 touches as well, 7 tackles. You had Harley Reid have 20 touches. Let's just look at the ball winners for West Coast. You had Yeo 27, Duggan 25, Gaff 21, McGovern 21. McGovern was huge in the last quarter. We'll get to that. And then you had Jimby, Reid, Sheed, and Witherden all on 20. So not really big ball winners. A lot of impact players in that West Coast side. But I do think Jimby can actually start to rack it up in the next little bit, as his development has started to creep in. I thought he's been a little bit better in the last couple games. And this 20 game was a pretty good game, but let's just view him for the sake. 16 disposals, 8 kicks, 8 handballs, 3 marks, 4 tackles, and 3 clearances is, yeah, a little bit below average, but I think he can pick it up in the future. Flynn, 89 on debut. I thought he was really influential in the first quarter. He was absolutely huge. After that, sort of faded out a little bit, but anyway, it's still a pretty big game for him first up. And he did nullify Rowan Marshall, who did get a hold of him in the last quarter, but definitely did nullify his impact. Sheed, 88. McGovern, you'll see, I think 40-something in the 30 in the last quarter. Wow. I must have just been thinking about this stretch here where he went bang. He went bang in this stretch here. 9, 15, 21, 24 in the space of 9 minutes. And it was just intercept possession after intercept possession, I swear, for him. So yeah, he was just pretty big in that last quarter. And I think he ended up with like 120 Supercoach just because of all the interceptions. Harley Reid, 75, you'll just see all his stats, and then it just went to nothingness. 10 points in the second half. Yeah, he just did nothing, and that 10 points, his score did nothing and I kid you not, nothing since from the 10th minute mark of the third quarter. Harley Reid didn't score a single more point. So yeah, he had 1, 2, 3, 4 free kicks against in the second half, 2 marks, a tackle. 3 marks. 3 marks, 3 kicks, and a tackle. So yeah, he just did nothing in the second half. And that's because Windhager went on to him. Windhager finally got pushed back into the middle, and that's where he looks the best, to be honest with you. Williams, 75, Cripps, Gaff, Ryan, Witherden, Barras, Cole, Hoff, Darling. Harry Edwards, I think, is much more of a Supercoach player than a fantasy player, given that he is that third tall, or second tall, depending on how you view it with McGovern. But yeah, he was all right, but not really fancy relevant. Jones, Chesser. I'm surprised about Chesser, to be honest. I'm pretty sure he's a country New South Wales guy or something. I need to double check that. But yeah, I'm surprised he isn't having more of an impact on games as he is a winger. He sort of just seems like that guy that I feel like in a couple of years' time is probably going to be chucked off the list, to be honest, for West Coast. Where is he from? Lavington. Yeah, and then he went into Victoria. New South Wales. I bet this is a border town or something. So yeah, he's, I think it's border town, is it? Yeah, he's border, 20 minutes up from Albury, so a border town of New South Wales. And Victoria, played for Victoria in under 18s, I believe. And might have even been schoolboys, but yeah. So he's just not impacting games anymore, and I really am fearful that he probably is one that drops off the list, given that he's playing for West Coast and not impacting on West Coast list. Marek, 31, key forwards, they sometimes have these type of games. Petrocelli, 18. I don't know what he did. Don't know if he got injured yet again or something. True and Williams. And then you go over to St Kilda, and Wood had a huge last quarter of a 63, including 3 goals. So he was just absolutely huge in the last. Marshall had a big last, I'm pretty sure, as well. A 31 and a 30 third quarter. So he's actually he actually saved it, to be honest with you, after having such a horrific first 2 quarters. And if you actually look at this, you'll see that a lot of his work as well in the third quarter came from after the 20-minute mark. So in red time, he had 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13 points in the last, 9 or so minutes of the quarter. And then in the fourth quarter as well, he had a lot of points in this as well, a little bit. So that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 16 points in red time as well. So 29 points in the 20 minutes of red time in the second half as well, or 23 or 24 minutes of red time as well. Pretty much shows that he was scoring late on. So yeah, I just wonder with him whether he's actually top. The ruckmen are so hard to tell as well this year, which probably means that they're all going to end up within 5 or so points of each other, because Marshall is at 111, I believe. Sherry's at 104, Grundy's at 105 as well, or something like that, and English is in around that marker as well. So on both platforms, all 4 of them are going to be so close to one another. So it'll just be interesting to see where I go with those guys. Steele, 96 after a 0 first quarter. He just made it up in the second quarter, so you can basically transfer half the stats to the first quarter, and it looks pretty even for him. So yeah, he will be a guy that probably is going to score around about, I would say, 105 for the rest of the year. He's down at 109 now. Wanganeen, Malira, 89. Wilkie, Clark, Battle, Windhager, Sinclair, 84. Paddy Dow, Bobby Hill. He was absolutely pathetic by foot, and partially one of the reasons why they were doing nothing in the first half. And part of the reasons why West Coast were dominating them in the first half was he was going at 30%. Caminiti, Liam Henry, I thought he was actually really, really impactful for his 64. And he ended up kicking, a goal here? Yeah, 1 goal, 1, I believe. So he was pretty impactful. Membry Bonner as well didn't have the greatest game. Sort of got faded out of the game in the second half. I thought he was all right in the first half, kicking a lot better, but then in the second half, he basically just made error after error, and I do not want part of that, especially because I thought he was going to be sort of a 90 guy, and he's put up a couple of stinkers. Wilson, 59, probably time to go, to be honest with you. 25, 0, 19, 15, I think I think it's time to go to full primos, and I don't think Wilson is that guy. And I think it's an easy upgrade to the likes of a Green, etc., who is about 100k more expensive. Then you've got Wilson, Higgins, Owens, Howard, Ross, King, Webster, and Butler, and that pretty much is it for this game, and just shows that St Kilda won it, but they won ugly, and yeah, I just think both of these sides are sort of in that 10 to 14 range. I don't think St Kilda will challenge, and I think West Coast will be better than Richmond, North Melbourne. I don't even know who else is down there as well. There's Adelaide. They may even jump Adelaide, to be honest, if they haven't already. What are they? They're third last with 3 wins. Then you got St Kilda, who jumped above them. We're above them, but put another game clear of them. Then you got Adelaide and Brisbane, both on 18 points, who are a game and a half clear, and Hawthorn 1 to make themselves 2 games clear of West Coast. But anyway, that is the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.